good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we get set for race number 17 of the season of the NNSCRA Hershey's Cup Series, Season 4. We continue on our chase towards the chase for the championship here tonight at Arizona Speedway. And based off of what we've seen this weekend in the Hershey's Cup Series non-charter series as well as last night's Pizza Hut X Series, we are in for a race wrapped around fuel strategy. And that's going to be very interesting because it could be somebody's strategy, their crew chief, their team, all that could come into play into getting somebody an opportunity of making it into this season's chase for the championship. Our last few races have actually been rather fuel-oriented, pit strategy-oriented. Shelton's win at Darlington, K Mathews' win last week at Phoenix. So we're starting to get into that portion of the season where drivers are more content on trying to work out strategy to be able to get themselves to victory lane that way rather than fight their way to the front in a bunch of short runs due to caution-filled races. Matter of fact, we've had very few cautions in the second half of this season. Been very impressed with that. But we got Joseph Srigley lined up on the pole for this race. Srigley, who comes in 35th of the 35 chartered rides in the point stands, obviously looking for a good run today, was a two-time winner last season. And Tim Walsh will line up alongside of him. Tim Walsh comes into this race 18th in the points to look for his first win of the season in that entry. Also, L McIntire rolling off from third, looking for his first win of the season. He was a two-time winner last year. McIntosh finds himself currently 26th in points, and alongside him, J Arndt looking for win number 2 on what's been a career year. As there's the command to fire up the engines. It's 54 laps of racing this evening. We've been having 41 laps in our Hershey's Cup Series non-charter race and Pizza Hut X Series race, so add another 13 laps onto the grid, and we'll have to see how that's going to play out into tonight's outcome. You can see there your current chase standings. If the season were to end now, these would be the 16 drivers that would battle for the championship. A couple of drivers we need to mention, though, as that are on that list. You've got L Alvarise there, the last of the drivers with a win this season, but the thing we got to remember about him is he comes into this race 30th in the point stands. He is on that critical danger zone line. If he falls lower than 30th by the time the chase begins, he's not going to make the chase for the championship. So look for that 08 car to maybe try and get themselves a good run here tonight, get themselves away from that danger zone. And then we've got Charles Jackson and Caitlin Tsang. Those are two, Charles Jackson, a non-chartered ride, Caitlin Tsang now a chartered ride. They are currently 36th and 37th in the point standings right now. Caitlin Tsang, a chartered ride, obviously trying to get herself into the top 30 in the points by regular season end. There'll be 3 stages here tonight, 54 laps of racing, so it's going to be split up into 15-15 with a 24-lap final stage. Joseph Srigley leads them down. Green flag about to come out. We are underway here tonight at Arizona. L McIntosh not even going to allow Joseph Srigley the luxury of trying to lead the first lap. Side by side down the back straightaway. And here comes Trent Dunham and Levi McIntyre as well. McIntosh looking to get that valuable bonus point for a lap led. Look at there, Levi McIntyre to the inside of Trent Dunham. We like to come to these racetracks and tell you the former winners, drivers to watch out for, but we've only been to this track one time before here in Hershey's Cup Series competition. That was last year when JT Bryant went to victory lane. Bryant, a former winner this season at Dover. We'll have to see if the 22 peeks his way up to the front at any point during the closing stages of this race, as Levi McIntyre all over the bumper of L McIntire. If I remember correctly, Arizona was put into the schedule last year to fill in an emptied slot because we ended up whittling down a couple of the road course stops that we had in Season 2, and I believe Mid-Ohio was taken off the schedule, so we needed to come to another racetrack, and so Arizona slotted in right between Phoenix and Springfield, where we're going to be going to next week. McIntyre to the front. Now, Levi McIntyre is a teammate to JT Bryant out of Young Motorsports, so you got to wonder how much advice, how much information JT Bryant was able to give his Young Motorsports teammates Levi McIntyre and Dylan Young, who right now are both running inside the top 10. McIntyre in the lead, Dylan Young last time by scored in 8th, this time by dropped to 9th. Well, McIntyre is gone. Best battle's going on for 2nd. 3 wide. Cole Baker up the middle. J Arndt on the inside. J Srigley left out to dry there on the high line. We talked about a number of drivers that have all of a sudden seemed to come alive here in the second half of the regular season. Cole Baker being one of those drivers. He's now fought his way up to the 19th position in the points, still looking for his first win of the season, second of his career. And right there's a driver we haven't talked much about yet in the last few weeks, N Hudson. He has dropped like a rock to 20th in the point standings. Nice to see him up here at the front, having a decent run right now in that Michael Norman Motorsports entry, number 16 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Currently this time he is, or last time by, he was scored in the 5th position. I believe he's now going to cross in 3rd, just behind McIntosh, just ahead of Dylan Young. And the champ is back. K Mathews last week establishing he wants to have an opportunity to defend his Hershey's Cup Series title last season when he went to victory lane at Phoenix. And right now, Mathews going to try and go for the 4th position. That is a battle with Dylan Young, and Mathews will take it very easily. So all of a sudden, we're starting to see the Retro Racing Enterprises cars come to life. Took him not too long to get into victory lane, with Charles Sandfer winning the 3rd race of the season at Las Vegas, but then a little bit of a winless streak going on there before we finally saw Shelton and Mathews go back-to-back at Darlington and Phoenix. Almost some contact back there between J Arndt and Dallas McIntosh. They keep it together though, but the man that's really enjoying this at the moment, Levi McIntyre, out in front, and my eyes might have deceived me. It almost looked like there might have been some right side damage on that 99. I'll have to look when he comes by that camera angle again. Maybe it's just the shadows playing tricks with my eyes. Nope, no damage. For some reason it looked like the right front wheel well was pushed in a little bit. I think that's just the shadows at this racetrack. Maybe the way the angle is, maybe the way that the paint scheme looks. Whatever the case though, Levi McIntyre out in front. This is obviously huge for him in 2 ways. Number 1, he's going to be able to more than likely be the leader by the time we get to lap 15, which will give him 10 valuable bonus points in the stage point standings. But also, you think about with this big lead he's got, when we end up having our cycle of green flag pit stops, which right now it looks like we're setting up for because we have gone 9 laps without a caution flag, Levi McIntyre is going to have all that track position, and that's going to allow him to probably be able to come in and come out as the race leader when things cycle around. Now that is obviously barring any pit stop problems that they might have, and also the fact that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, they're kind of running single file at the moment, and they may reel him in before this is all said and done. Last time by, 1.6 second separation. That time they gained about 6 100ths. Didn't gain a whole lot, and if they continue to battle amongst each other, they're going to continue to lose ground to that Ford. 3 Chevys trying to run down 1 Ford at this current point in time. 2 of these drivers, former winners already this season. Levi McIntyre coming into the season right now is the highest run in the standings without a win, 5th in points. So, he wants to find victory lane. A couple of other drivers up inside the top 10, the points that don't have a win yet. Joshua Michaels, 6th in the standings. K Llamas in 8th, and also guy who finished runner-up last week, to K Mathews, Blaine Keys, jumped up to 10th in points with his runner-up finish last week. Zachary Fitzwater and J Baskinger, they're 11th and 12th in points, with Brandon Gonzales 14th. So some big names that are up there in the standings, but they just haven't yet been able to find victory lane. As K Mathews now, obviously winning last week at Phoenix on fuel strategy, you got to wonder if maybe he's going to try fuel strategy again. And holy cow, look who's worked up into the top 10 already, up to 7th and now going for 6th. That's the Lincoln of K Tellier. Where the heck did she come from? She started back in the rear of the field, obviously, making it in via the non-charter race, but it has taken her only 12 laps to work her way from the back all the way up. She's going to go for 6th off of Zachary Fitzwater. And that looks like one very strong Lincoln. We've already had 2 drivers this season go to victory lane when they were non-chartered rides. Caitlin Tsang at Eldora, Charles Jackson at Richmond. And you gotta wonder if maybe we're looking at number 3 here in that number 11 of K Tellier, perhaps? This Dia car is really, really fast. Look at this, she's reeling in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, all by herself. They've obviously got that car wound up for a long run, and look out Levi McIntyre. If this car gets to second, we may end up seeing that lead interval get chipped away. Look at this. She is still, I mean, that's one car that's reeling in 3 cars that are in a pretty tight draft. Look at that. Huge run down the back straightaway. Now, the fuel window, I believe, for these drivers is somewhere around 20 to 22 laps. That's been the general consensus all weekend long, as Levi McIntyre puts lap 15 on the board. So next time by, we are going to complete this stage, and Levi McIntyre, with over a second and a half advantage, will obviously win that. So now we got to wonder, you know, when do these drivers come to pit road? Who's going to be the first one to dive to pit road? Usually when one dives to pit road, they all dive to pit road. It kind of sets the tone, because nobody wants to be left out there on the racetrack running slower laps on worn tires, as opposed to drivers that have just come and gotten some fresh Goodyears. As Levi McIntyre will win the first stage, Kyle Mathews will get second, J Arndt, Nathan Hudson, K Tellier will be fifth after the first stage, with Dallas McIntosh, Zachary Fitzwater, Trent Dunham, Cole Baker, and Dylan Young your top 10. So McIntyre still out in front. That lead, though, has kind of stayed the same. Kyle Mathews about 1.6 seconds back. Let's see if he gains or loses this time, and he actually loses a tenth that time to Levi McIntyre. So these guys back here might be just riding, waiting for the opportunity to come to pit road, get that fresh rubber, and then maybe they can start trying to see if they can reel in Levi McIntyre. K Tellier now all over the back bumper of Nathan Hudson. That's for the 4th position. Tries to get to the left rear here, coming out of 4. Ooh, little contact right there between those two. K Tellier having to lift a little to avoid wrecking Nathan Hudson. Got a battle going on for the 6th position. Fitzwater to the inside of McIntosh, and he will make that pass very easily. Mentioned Fitzwater, 11th in the point stands coming to this race. He's been kind of one of those silent ones here this season. Haven't really talked a whole lot about him, haven't really put him in the spotlight, but he's obviously having a great year if he's 11th in the points. Looking for his first win of the season. Oh boy, we got the pit stops happening. That was Kyle Mathews who gives up the 2nd spot to come to pit road. So we're setting the tone. A little early to be coming to the pit lane, but Kyle Mathews coming in maybe about a lap or 2 earlier than we expected drivers to make pit stops. And now Cody Llamas is in, and you can bet that's going to be basically saying, hey, we're on pit road. Everybody else is going to be coming to pit road. So there you see Levi McIntyre realizing that Mathews kind of duped him there, and so he's going to come to pit road now. J Arndt, Nathan Hudson in. Couple drivers staying out, including the 11 of K Tellier. So K Tellier will lead a lap. I believe that's the first lap she'll lead of her career here in the Hershey's Cup Series. Fitzwater, McIntosh stayed out. Brooke Allen, Blaine Keys also staying out, along with M Haas in the 78. More than likely, they'll come to pit road within the next 1 to 2 laps. And it looks like K Tellier is coming to pit road this time. So the 11 will give up the race lead. Fitzwater is in. McIntosh. Brooke Allen's going to come down pit road this time. Blaine Keys is in, as is M Haas. McCloud also stayed out an extra lap. Keith Batson. L Alvarise is in, along with teammate Chris Dodd. There is Kyle Mathews on that fresh rubber. Whoa, look at that. 3 wide in 2 different areas coming off of pit road. Look at that. How did they decide who's going to come off pit road with what position? I don't know, but they settled it out. That was interesting. And there is Mathews. And he's going to come out behind Nathan Hudson. So I think Hudson did actually come out ahead of Mathews, and I think J Arndt did as well. We'll have to wait and see how this all cycles around. I think Sean Gallighan, actually, with how it looks, actually he's gotten caught a lap down, or else he's just in the tail end of the lead lap. Actually, I think he is a lap down. Mathews moving by Hudson. I believe that would be for the 3rd position. I think J Arndt's running in 2nd. Nope, K Tellier now in there. And she just left pit road, so now I think she might be in 2nd. I think they're all chasing Levi McIntyre still. We'll find out in a moment. Yeah, there's McIntyre, and this would be the battle for 2nd place. Tellier has it. J Arndt third, Mathews fourth, and Nathan Hudson fifth. S Gallighan has now gotten trapped a lap down to the race leader, Levi McIntyre, so apparently that 44 car not to his liking this evening. Still up to speed, doesn't appear to have any damage, but obviously off the pace. McIntyre setting a blistering pace, and he now, before pit stops began, had about 1.7 seconds over the second place car. It's now doubled to almost 3.5 seconds, the advantage between himself and the second place car of J Arndt. So the last thing Levi McIntyre wants to see now would be a caution flag. These drivers will have to pit at least one more time, more than likely pitting somewhere between laps 42 to 44, giving them roughly 10 to 12 laps remaining. But McIntyre, as I said, last thing he wants to see is the yellow flag wave, because this gap he's got right now, if he can maintain it, he might be in good shape. He lost a little bit of ground that time, 3/10 cut down between himself and the second place car of J Arndt. J Arndt trying to kind of use S Gallighan perhaps as a drafting partner to get up there and get to Levi McIntyre for the race lead, but we are not yet halfway, still a long ways to go. A lot of opportunity still here for someone to maybe be able to reel in that 99. This time by the lead cut down again by another 3/10. So McIntyre, all by his lonesome, not able to run as fast lap times as J Arndt. J Ardnt's actually appearing to use the lap machine of S Gallighan to get up there to Levi McIntyre. And as he looks in his rearview mirror, K Mathews appears to be doing the same thing with Nathan Hudson. Those two kind of trying to work together now. I think they're realizing, hey, we can't be racing each other for position because it's actually hurting us more than helping us. Another 2/10 cut down by J Arndt, and McIntyre better be looking in his rearview mirror because that 05 car is coming. J Arndt winning earlier on this season at Kansas, and I guess you could see a little bit of a similarity between Kansas and Arizona. The track's about 1.5 miles in length, and yeah, I can see a lot of similarities actually between both of those racetracks, so not a surprise to see J Arndt running well here. You think about it though, with Levi McIntyre out in front, let's speculate he does indeed go to victory lane. We've already got 14 different race winners that are inside, I'm sorry, not 14, I should say 12 different race winners that are inside the top 30 in the points. That leaves only 4 slots open right now for drivers to get their way in on points without a win. If McIntyre wins today, we could find ourselves in a situation of only 3 slots being remain open for drivers to get in via points, and that is, we're saying that with about 10 races left to go in the regular season as well after the season is over. So the likelihood that we have 3 more different race winners this season, very, very high, which looks like we are more than likely going to find ourselves in the situation of drivers with wins this season not making the chase for the championship, as we're looking at Caitlin Tsang, our Eldora race winner, coming to pit road again. This is too early to be making a pit stop for the 28 car, so I have to assume something is wrong with her Chevrolet Impala, and she's now hitting the pit lane. It's going to drop her a lap down to the leaders. Maybe she thinks she can make it the rest of the way with pitting now. I don't know. Let's jump back and go through the field here. See who's running where. J Srigley has now fought his way back up here, the pole sitter. He's now in the 6th position, trying to get by Kyle Mathews, Zachary Fitzwater. Brooke Allen now up into 7th place. Good run there for the driver leading the Rookie of the Year standings. Jessica Shelton went to victory lane 2 weeks ago. Great run right now for her. And take a look there, Jordan Lopez going by her for position. That's a battle for 8th. Lopez, of course, the winner here 2 nights ago in the non-charter race. So Jordan Lopez maybe trying to go for the Arizona sweep. Johnny Gardner right behind them as he's running in the 10th position. Trent Dunham back there in 11th. Randy Gonzales is in 12th. Dylan Poteet in 13th place. 14th now K Tellier. She's dropped back. 15th place looks like is Emmanuel Hartnett with 16th Dallas McIntosh. 17th David Culpepper. 18th is now Dylan Young. Boy, he dropped after those pit stops. Then you've got battle back here for 19th, 20th on back. J McCloud, Chris Dodd, Alex Gray, Jonathan Zorlin, Cole Baker. One driver I've noticed is not up here. 61 of Anthony McCrury. There he is. Last time by, scored in the 32nd position. Came into this race only 8 points over James McCloud in the standings. This is not the run that the points leader needed. The Daytona 500 and All-Star race winner. Right now, McCrury battling with L Alvarise, another driver who needed a good run tonight. Right now, 33rd, taking 32nd is Alvarise. We talked about how Alvarise came into this race 30th in the points standings, needed a good run to get away from that danger zone. Well, this is not exactly what Alvarise was looking for. Joshua Michaels back here. 6th in the points standings, not having a decent run right now. Our winner from Bristol, G Sydnor, back here. J Bryant, our Dover winner and defending winner of this race, back here as well. Benjamin Miles, that 25 team did not seem to get a good run in the last couple of weeks. Charles Sandfer, not having a great run here tonight there in that Reese's Pieces Chevrolet, our Las Vegas race winner. Into this race 13th in points. He'll drop in the standings tonight if he's not able to pick up spots. He scored in 39th. Matt McIntyre back there in 40th. And did we have a lead change? We did have a lead change because Levi McIntyre just hit the pit road. Joseph Srigley to the lead, I think. No, McIntyre dropped to 3rd. Wow. We missed that lead change. I apologize. We were going through the field and I didn't even notice that. Joseph Srigley now to the race lead. Fitzwater moves to 2nd. And McIntyre, who has dominated this race up to this point, has now dropped back to the 3rd position. So now Joseph Srigley, who last season went to victory lane in back-to-back races, and Joltis and Lime Rock, now trying to pick up what I believe would be his 4th career win. But he's got Zachary Fitzwater right behind him in the 76. Fitzwater went to victory lane last season at Phoenix. That put him into the chase for the championship last year. He'd love to get back into the chase again. Srigley's 2 wins last season would have gotten him into the chase if they hadn't taken place during the chase for the championship. So very interesting. Now Levi McIntyre seems to have fallen off, and he's going to actually lose more spots. He just lost a position to Brooke Allen, who now moves up to the 3rd spot. McIntyre drops to 4th, as Brooke Allen now will try and get by the lap machine of Sean Gallighan. We're getting really racy back here, just in the back of the top 10. J Gardner moving by J Arndt. That's the battle for 5th. And then you've got Brandon Gonzales, Dylan Poteet, Nathan Hudson back here as well. Trent Dunham in the mix. Brandon Gonzales, another of those drivers that's running well in the point standings. 14th in points. Former winner in this series back in Season 2 at Texas. And he is now going to crack the top 10 as he crosses the line in the 6th position. Well, Levi McIntyre's car has gone away all of a sudden. I don't know what adjustment they made on that car back on that last round of pit stops, but apparently it has not helped him as far as the long run is gone. He has been able to get by Sean Gallighan, but now you see Gallighan again trying to get by him. This is not for position. Sean Gallighan's actually off the lead lap. J Gardner right behind him, though, is for position. And Brandon Gonzales now going to catch up to this as well, making a 3-man fight for the 4th position. Meanwhile, up ahead, Charles Sandfer has been lapped by Joseph Srigley, and now Matt McIntyre about to suffer the same fate. Oh, maybe not, because Srigley is coming to pit road. Matt McIntyre is in as well, and that will turn the lead over to Zachary Fitzwater. So Fitzwater will lead a lap here tonight. Now, this is probably the money stop. This is going to be the stop where they'll be able to make it the entire rest of the way on fuel. Who is going to have that money stop? We've had our top 5 shuffle up quite a bit here. There's a name that popped up into the top 5. I think he stayed out, but Chris Dodd was up just outside the top 10 when the cycle of pit stops began. All of a sudden, he's up in this mix. So great run for the 88, the Season 2 Hershey's Cup Series champion. Fitzwater is in. Brooke Allen is in as well. Dallas McIntosh will stay out an extra lap. And he will lead that lap. And I believe he may be the last driver that needs to come to pit road. I think he's the only driver that stayed out an extra lap to be able to lead and get a bonus point, and now he will more than likely come to pit road this time. So we're going to then have to go and find the 24 of J Srigley, who was the first car that came in as the race leader as McIntosh hits pit road. And there is the 24 car. About to catch Caitlin Tsang. Caitlin Tsang, I believe, might be on the tail end of the lead lap now. Nope, still a lap down. And Srigley, I believe, is going to cycle back around as the race leader. Question is, who's going to be in second? Brooke Allen, we saw just leaving pit road. Where is Fitzwater? Well, Johnny Gardner actually might be up in second. Where'd Fitzwater go? Fitzwater dropped. Is Fitzwater the leader? Fitzwater might be the leader. Hang on. Yeah, Fitzwater is the leader. So Fitzwater to the point. Srigley will be in second with Brooke Allen third. Fourth is Johnny Gardner, and they're showing Jordan Lopez would be in fifth when we cycle around. So it's not out of the question that we could end up having a non-charter driver sweep the race weekend here at Arizona. Lopez went to victory lane 2 nights ago in the non-charter race, and he's up inside the top 5 now. At the line, it's Fitzwater, then Srigley, then Brooke Allen, Lopez, Gardner rather. That's your top 5 with McIntyre, Mathews, Poteet, Shelton, and Hudson. That is your current top 10. And the battle for the lead may be on here momentarily. Joseph Srigley all over the back bumper of Zachary Fitzwater, rather. Dodge versus Chevy. So far this season, whoa, here we go. Srigley to the inside for the race lead, and he will take it. So Srigley back to the point. So far this season, we have had only 3 races where a non-Chevrolet driver has gone to victory lane. At Daytona, Anthony McCrury. At Talladega, Matt Haas in a Toyota. And at Dover, JT Bryant in a Ford. All other wins this season have been Chevrolet drivers, whether it be a Chevrolet SS or a Chevrolet Impala. And you'd think we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, but no, there's still about 9.5 laps left to go here. I mean, there's still plenty of time for Fitzwater to reel Srigley in and make a move. I mean, if something happens to these two, you could have Lopez, Gardner, Brooke Allen back up in the mix. This race is not over by a long shot. There's still a ways to go, and anything can still happen here. 9 laps to go now as they hit the line. Charles Sandfer and Matt McIntyre are on the tail end of the lead lap after the cycle of pit stops, but they may end up getting caught once again. They were a lap down when the cycle of pit stops began, and they are about to get reeled in once more. I believe they are still running in 39th and 40th. They are indeed. Oh, and a car out of the race. That is Cole Baker. Mechanical problems for the 18 car. He will finish this race dead last in 42nd. A header issue for that driver. What a tough break there for Cole Baker. He was running up just inside the top 10, around the top 15 for most of the evening. And that's going to hurt him in the point stands, obviously. 3 cars now a lap down. Look at this. Fitzwater moving Srigley out of the way for the lead. That was an aggressive move, nearly 3 wide into 3, but Fitzwater made it stick. He wasn't going to lift. Srigley had to give way. Fitzwater back to the point. And now Fitzwater going to have some difficulty with Charles Sandfer, as we now have 38 cars on the lead lap. Sandfer the last of those cars, but he may not be for long. Here comes Fitzwater to the bottom. Srigley, I think, thought about putting that same 3-wide move into 3 on Fitzwater. Thinks better of it, though. Oh, and now did not get a good entry into that corner. Now going to diamond it to get to the inside of Sandfer, but that's going to lose him a little bit of ground to Fitzwater as a result. In last week's race at Phoenix, L Mathews passed Blaine Keys with 2 laps to go. Could we be setting up for another great finish like that here tonight at Arizona? A couple of names have just popped up into the top 10. David Culpepper now up to 7th. Emmanuel Hartnett now up to 10th. And the car that dominated the first half of this race, Levi McIntyre, in danger of dropping outside of the top 10 as he's currently scored in the 9th position. Looks like it's going to be these two to settle it out. Srigley in the Chevrolet, Fitzwater in the Dodge. Both former winners last season, both looking for their first win of Season 4. Fitzwater is 11th in the points, Srigley is 35th. Which one of these drivers wants it more? Srigley, big run there through turn 4. He may be able to make a move here into maybe about a car length separation, but he is definitely within striking distance. Another car up ahead they'll probably have to deal with. That is the car of Benjamin Miles, his Dodge Dart. And Srigley takes a peek to the inside, going down the back straightaway. Is he going to be able to get to the left rear? Not this time. Car looked a little tight off of 2, so I wasn't certain he'd have enough momentum to be able to get to the inside. Oh, he's going to try here, though. Ooh, a little squirrely there. Car nearly stepped out from underneath them. Both drivers using the slipstream off the Napa Dodge. Fitzwater to the inside of Benjamin Miles. Srigley thought about sticking it down there, but couldn't quite do it this time. He is still, though, within striking distance. Look at this. Drives it down again to the bottom, but he just gets a little tight there coming off the corner, so he cannot use that forward momentum to get to Fitzwater's left rear quarter panel. I think he's going to have to try something in 3 and 4. That seems where he's a little bit better than 1 and 2. He does it, and he's going to go to the inside. Battle for the lead, 2 to go at the line. Srigley to the inside of Zachary Fitzwater, and he will clear coming off of turn number 2. Now Fitzwater left to try and run down the Pepsi Exalta Chevrolet, and he lost a little bit of ground. His car got a little tight on the high side coming off of turn 2. Srigley going to have to try and hang on for one more lap. Fitzwater's got 4 more corners to be able to try and do something with Joseph Srigley. White flag displayed. Can Srigley hang on? Can Fitzwater run him down? Fitzwater's a little bit better in 1 and 2. Get this, he's trying to get the run, he's trying to get the slipstream. He might be able to get enough of a run down the back straightaway to make a move here in 3 and 4. Is he going to be able to do it? Srigley seems to be a little bit better in 3 and 4. Fitzwater drives it deep, but he can't even get to the back bumper. Oh, he might be able off of 4. No, he's not going to be able to. Joseph Srigley is going to pick up his first win of the season. He wins here tonight at Arizona. One more lap. Fitzwater might have had something. He got a heck of a run off turn 4, but he just couldn't get enough forward bite to get to the inside of Joseph Srigley coming to the line. And this will be an interesting story to follow for the upcoming weeks. Joseph Srigley came into this race 35th in the point standings. We've been talking about L Alvarise trying to keep himself ahead of the danger zone. Well, we've been also following Caitlin Tsang getting a charter, trying to work her way to the top 30 in the points. Well, Joseph Srigley came into this season as a chartered ride. After the first half of the regular season, found himself dead last of the 35 chartered machines, and right now, he's got himself a trip to victory lane. The rest of the season, you can bet, will be a quest to try and get into the top 30 in the point standings. Session is complete, and had some very interesting names pop up into the top 10 for the completion of this one, I can tell you. Fitzwater will end up in second. They were a full 10 seconds ahead of third place, which will be Nathan Hudson tonight. Emmanuel Hartnett comes home in fourth, with Trent Dunham in fifth. Dylan Poteet is sixth. David Culpepper gets rookie of the race as he'll finish in seventh. Eighth for Jessica Shelton. Boy, her finishes have certainly come a lot better since her win at Darlington. Jordan Lopez, great weekend for him, obviously, as he ended up winning the non-charter race and gets a top 10 tonight in the charter event. And K Tellier will finish the evening in 10th. Where the heck did she come from? Cody Llamas gets 11th. Where'd he come from? McCloud in 12th. Gardner 13th. 14th for K Mathews. Levi McIntire, I don't know what they did to that car on that first round of pit stops, but it was not to his liking. He dropped from the lead all the way back to finish the evening out in the 15th position. 16th place for Brandon Gonzales. Chris Dodd in 17th rather. 18th was Brooke Allen. 19th for J Arndt. And Dallas McIntosh will complete your top 20. Points leader Anthony McCrury finished the evening out in the 27th position, with McCloud finishing 12th, so I believe McCloud will take the points lead heading into next week. As you see, we had a total of 36 cars finish on the lead lap. Blaine Keys, the last of those machines. And then a lap down was Benjamin Miles, Charles Sandfer, Matt McIntyre, Sean Gallighan, Caitlin Tsang 2 laps down after having to make an unscheduled pit stop. And Cole Baker, the only driver out of the race due to a mechanical problem, a header issue, putting his number 18 Ford behind the wall. But that is going to do it here tonight from Arizona. Another race where we ended up running caution-free. I don't know what it is with these drivers, but all of a sudden they're realizing, hey, a chance to get into a chase is on the line. We got to keep our car in one piece. And it's made for some very interesting green flag racing. We will see you guys next week because maybe things are going to take a little turn for the aggressive side. We're going dirt track racing again. We had an unbelievable race at Eldora. Before that, a great race at Bristol Dirt. And next week, we are going to the Springfield Mile. Dirt track racing at its best. That's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that race weekend. Thank you all for tuning in to today's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a video like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you your full finisher results. Up next, it's your rookie points and your overall point standings. We'll see you guys next week for Springfield as you've been watching production of NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.